Welcome back to another day. This is Levi Apparel. Like and subscribe. All right, let's see if I can get this out to some people. All right, hold up. All right, so give me a minute. Give me a minute. Getting there. Getting there. All right, we got some sponsors to do. Um, Copy and bam. We get into the live too. Right. Ooh, looks like all right. Let me see. Word, I'll tap in. Okay, let me send you the link real quick. Bam. All right, just started. All right, cool. All right. Hey guys, all the links is in the description. Everybody talk about, check them out. My aim is not play all the videos, so if you want to see everything, go check out the videos. Click on the link, go see them, support them, help them out. Hey, they're YouTubers. You feel me? Give them some props. All right, cool. And for everybody that's gonna be here, like, subscribe. Some people just watch this later on. It is what it is. As long as you're here supporting, that's all we care about. You feel me? All right. Even if this gets out to one, as long as we're supporting each other, check out the links. Go help the people that's on here grow. And yeah. All right. Some more applause. All right. I got some more sound effects, so we'll play it soon. Yeah. All right. So let's see. First thing we're gonna talk about today. So yeah, first thing we're gonna talk about. First of all, let me say this, right? Welcome back to Levi Apparel. Like and subscribe. We're live on YouTube, and let's go. Woo! All right. Um, in case you didn't know, I have Facebook. Facebook group. There's a lot of people on it, especially if you are an actual brand. Go on it. Um, Go check it out and mingle with the people in there. You never know, your product might actually sell, or they might just be like, okay, cool. Well, so basically, the face group is people who do exactly what I do, custom design, apparel designing, but sometimes, you know, while we're doing these things, we may need help. Like, so for example, like somebody that screen prints, right? On my title, I have Fractals, right? Print Pod. He does a lot of good stuff, and he creates his own, from scratch, mind you, his own type of screen printing machine. And the way his is set up in a way where, like, if you are a tiny, small, beginning business or growing business, his product is amazing. He's gonna be featured in, towards the middle, I think, middle-ish. I got two videos on feature I'm on. Um, uh, then you have information on like what's going on. You know, regular news, basic income, universal basic income. So I'm gonna talk about today. And then I have other information on products that we also may need for like UV printing and stuff like that. These are things I'm actually looking into in the future. So yeah, so that's gonna be UV printers. So stay tuned. All that's coming up, and let's get the first video set up. All right, cool. All right, first let me set the next video up. Give me a quick second. All right. So this is, I believe his name is Henri. And give me a quick second. Hold up, brother man. Hold up. Bam. All right, let's get back. Forgot to turn on my volume. All right, cool. Let's do this, baby.
Up with is, what if we gave everyone free money from the government? Boom. Every single year, it's yours, no questions asked. It's a concept called universal basic income.
All right. So, in case most of you guys don't understand what's going on, these are things that seem to be a little bit far fetched. However, when the first implementation of universal income, in the U.S., right, currently was what's called stimulus. The stimulus was meant to basically stimulate the economy, but it was actually, in my opinion, right, and also what powers that be may be doing is universal basic income, right? So some people speculate that, hey, listen, there's no way we're gonna get free money. Um, no, it's not just about getting free money. It's because there's a lot of jobs that's gonna be taken by AI pretty soon. However, you still need to eat. You still need to buy essential things. So while AI supposedly is going to take some of that job away, AI is not really going to take all the jobs away. You're still going to need manpower to do the behind the scenes. But typical jobs that we have won't be the same as before. So, for example, you may go to work 9 to 5. They've already tested that out during COVID to see that if it's possible to just stay online. And yeah, you can stay online and just do your normal stuff, right? So these are ways that we're moving pretty soon that is not talked about. Eventually it will be, but this is more like far-fetched futuristic type of stuff, right? I dive into a lot of those things. If you're in this channel, this is how it is. Sometimes there's stuff that I talk about that's just a little bit far-fetched, but it's because I think far ahead. All right, so universal basic income. This is something that I see that is a possibility. It's a possibility, right? If you're hungry, if you're um having issues balancing bills, if you're not able to maintain um essential things that you need just for living, this is something that's going to help the American public. Possibly, who knows, maybe in the future. At the end of the day, I'm just a YouTuber. What do I know, right? But yeah, this is something we need to focus on, start learning about, and I thought I might just bring it to you guys.
Idea that the government pays everyone a base income that is above the poverty line. Right now, the poverty line, as defined by the Census Bureau, is almost at $15,000 a year, or a little over
What? That is crazy.
$1,200 a month. Now, this is an extremely controversial idea, and everyone has an opinion about it because we've been arguing about this for 500 years now. Literally, since the year 1516. That's when Sir Thomas More introduced the idea in his book called Utopia. That's where he imagined a society that provided a basic income to all its citizens as long as they showed a willingness to work. And as we go forward through history, you're going to see variants of this idea over and over again. In 1797, for example, there was Thomas Paine, one of the founding fathers of the United States, and he came up with an idea for basic income in a
Wow. So, as you can see, universal basic income is not a new thought. It's actually since the beginning of the inception of this country, right? The beginning of this country. Um, and even our founding fathers, right, of the Americas or America, um, had already figured out this even way before. Even way before. So, you know?
Pamphlet he called Agrarian Justice. He wanted to pay every citizen some amount of money to compensate for what's called the loss of their natural inheritance. And the natural inheritance is an idea that every person born on Earth should be entitled to some part of its natural resources. Because think about it, people born way into the future will have less stuff to pick from as more and more of Earth's resources are used up and privatized. So to compensate, Thomas Paine wanted to pay them some amount of money. And in the 20th century, there was another variation proposed by economist Milton Friedman in the form of a negative income tax. Friedman's idea was to provide cash payments to anyone whose income fell below a certain level. Milton Friedman, by the way, was an OG loved by everyone. He was a Nobel Prize-winning economist that, fun fact, predicted Bitcoin's existence way before it happened in 1999.
What? What? 1999. Listen. 1999, I was chilling, playing ball, relaxing. Wow.
Look it up, but not before you watch this video, please. Now, in 1967, in a book called Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community, Martin Luther King Jr. had his own idea when he said, the solution to poverty is to abolish it directly by a now widely discussed measure, the guaranteed income. And one of the more recent examples is a political candidate, Andrew Yang, with his freedom dividend when he proposed giving anyone over the age of 18 $1,000 a month.
My flagship proposal is a freedom dividend of $1,000 a month for every American adult starting at age 18.
And most recently, you probably had a taste of UBI when the government started to give everyone a stimulus check of $1,200. All of these are variations of the universal basic income.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Man, let's play this.
Idea. And it's only going to get more important to figure out as society evolves thanks to technology. But here's where it gets super interesting. We've been running this money experiment all around the world in different countries, and
yo, I told you, all right? Listen, first I got this idea from my boy, right? He's been telling me about it. I'm like, nah, so I did some research, and upon watching and learning some stuff behind the scene, he probably don't even know this, right? My guy Green Energy Jim, what up, what up, what up? Fracos in the house. That's what's up, right? So, as I started doing more research, and there's a lot of stuff that's been already implemented. It's already here, right? But the thing is, because as sheeps, sometimes they don't want to give you the wrong type of grass, because, so I'm saying too much. Anyways, let them just play the video. Play that beautiful bean footage, but let me give it applause. Woo! Woo! Nice.
Just a couple weeks ago, we got the results to the United States in what's considered to be the most comprehensive randomized study of UBI ever conducted. And in today's video, I want to show you the history of UBI, the arguments for it, some of the arguments that are against it, and what the test results showed. I think this is going to be a huge part of our conversation really soon, and I want you to know about it, so let's get into it. Hi, my name is Henri Jick. Hope you're doing well. Come for the finance and stay for...
There it is, Henri. Finally, you figured the name out, Henri.
Universal basic income. One of my favorite videos on YouTube was a video by Casey Neistat where he talked about money and how it solves all the problems.
Money won't solve your problems. What a crock of shit. And I think I do have like a unique perspective on this because, I spent a good part of my life being very, very poor. I qualify very poor as like zero in my bank account, zero savings, zero safety net, nowhere I could turn to for money.
And the messed up part is this is most Americans. Like, we make so much money. The amount of money we make, right, in a month is some countries, that's like what they make in a year. But yet, we can't even save any money to do anything, But at the end of the day, it's still our fault because there's things that you can do, investments, start business, all this stuff, right? Um, build on yourself. You know what I mean? For example, you can start your own screen printing company by just checking out fractals.com. But that's for another video. We're gonna play that soon. We're gonna play that soon.
And there was definitely a time in my life when my son Owen was very small, where if I didn't get free diapers and milk and money from the government, I'm not sure I could have made ends meet as a parent or as an individual.
Fast forward a bit though, and Casey goes on to have one of the most successful careers on social media. He makes millions of dollars, goes on to become famous, and then he says,
money will solve your problems. This idea that money won't solve problems, it's bullshit.
My bad, I didn't see my guy Green Any Gems just hit me up with a cash app. Appreciate it, brother, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you, man. Give you that. Again. And another one. And another one.
I was dirt poor. Money would have solved every one of my problems.
so if money does solve all the problems, then why doesn't the government just pay everyone some amount of basic income? What if the government was able to solve the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, physiology, the idea that everyone could be able to afford the basics like food, shelter, and clothing? Would the world become a better place if people had more time to do what they love and become creative? Or would the absence of a financial struggle make everybody lazy? Artificial intelligence and automation is getting us there faster every single day, and I think we could be on the edge of this future really soon. And if robots will soon be able to do our jobs faster and better than we can, will jobs still be a core part of our identity, or will we have to find new purpose in life? In his video, Casey says that after a certain point, money doesn't really solve the problems that all of us will face throughout our lives. So all of these questions are very philosophical, and we're finally starting to get some of the answers. And the more I looked into them, the more I regretted picking this video because it's extremely complicated. So here's what I learned. So here are the arguments in support of UBI. Economists say that some kind of a basic income can help us solve one of the hardest challenges that humanity is facing: poverty. Right now, there's over 38 million Americans alone that are living in poverty. They make less than $12,000 a year, and that leaves them very little for anything beyond the basics. And a study by the Roosevelt Institute found that a UBI of just $1,000 a month could help a lot of those people out of poverty by allowing them to focus on their skills and their career rather than just worrying about how they're going to eat. And according to the World Bank, over 700 million people live in extreme poverty worldwide. So this is a huge problem on a global scale. But in theory, UBI could act like an economic stimulus to boost consumer spending, because when people have more money, they tend to spend it on things like food and rent, which helps with economic growth. But I also learned that some of the most successful and richest people in the world who are working to solve poverty say that UBI could be one of the better ways to fix it.
What to do about mass unemployment?
Every single field is going to be touched by automation.
This is going to be a massive social challenge. And I think ultimately we will have to have some kind of universal basic income.
And
Told you. Everybody's saying it. Eventually, you're going to have to do universal basic income. Eventually, you're going to have to do universal basic income. Now, universal basic income doesn't mean that you're sitting home, you're not working. They've done studies already where people go to work. People take care of situations that they have to, right? But one thing that low income does is it prevents you from going to hospitals because you don't want to deal with the expense. You'd rather put food in your mouth before you go to a hospital. But the same food that's being given to you, since you don't have much, typically you're eating unhealthy. And because of that, you have health issues. And then before you know it, you end up in the hospital anyways, but then you end up spending more. But if you were to keep going and make it a regular thing where you got seen and all that stuff, right? Then you'd have less health scare. You'd know about your issues ahead of time and you know how to prevent. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, let me let him finish.
UBI, to me, represented a floor that people could stand on.
So it means that unemployed people will be paid across the globe.
Yeah, and really have the knowledge and peace of mind, ultimately, that they could survive and eat and feed their children while they are learning how to transition into this new world.
I don't think we're going to have a choice.
So the main benefit of UBI is to fight against poverty and automation, which is going to become very real this decade. But the downside is, who's going to pay for it? Because it's extremely expensive. If we were to give every citizen just $1,000 a month, it would cost the U.S. economy about $4 trillion a year. Now, for context, in 2024, the entire United States federal budget was $6.5 trillion. And that includes spending on Social Security, the entire military, Medicare, Medicaid, and other essential services. So UBI at just $1,000 a month costs more than half of what the country spends in a single year, which means funding it would be really, really hard. But let's assume we cut out a bunch of bloated government programs, we got rid of tax loopholes, we taxed the rich even more, and we found a way to make this work. The next question is, does it actually work? And it turns out we've been running these tests all over the world to see how people would react when they're given money for free. And here's what we found. In the 1970s, for example, Canada was running the Mincome test, where they gave the whole town.
Did you hear that? The 1970s? 1970s. Now, you already know since 1700s, they've already tried to implement this. So they letting you know we've been doing studies all along.
Town of Dauphin, Manitoba, a basic income, and what they found was an improvement to healthcare and higher graduation rates. Unfortunately, the program was cancelled after 4 years because of politics, but in 2017, Ontario tried again with another program to help 4,000 low-income residents. But again, the experiment was ended early because of a new government, so the results were inconclusive. But Brazil has been running an experiment of their own for decades called the Bolsa Familia, or PBF, which helped around 20 million people out of poverty. From 2002 to 2012, the percentage of Brazilians living...
Here's a universal basic income that in the U.S. that you're not thinking about. EBT WIC. EBT WIC. It may seem like it's not, but at the end, it might be something that they're now offering that's more universal to help out. And this was all an experiment to see, does it work? Does it help?
...in 20...
Imagine this. You get EBT, you get WIC, and you get stimulus.
14, where they gave people $1,100 a month for one whole year. And the result was